Well, before I finished high school, I applied to Dillard, which is here in New Orleans, and it's a Methodist school. And I applied, was accepted, and the rest is history. I went there 4 years, got my Bachelor of Science degree in nursing, and from there I went to LSU and got my master's. But before that, when I finished, I met a man. Somehow or another, we gravitated toward each other, and we got married in 1958. And after being here and getting married and learning this city, it grew on me. New Orleans is a very unique place. There's no place in the country like New Orleans. I described it one time to my councilwoman as it's like a debutante in her white gown, making her debut, always making her debut. But her fingernails and her toenails are dirty, filled with boiled shrimp shells and crab shells and shrimp shells underneath her finger. Because this is what they do. You know, they eat them and they throw it out. Don't care where it falls. This house is over 100 years old. It was my husband's parents' home. The house originally was called a shotgun. And by that, you can stand at the front door and look all the way through. I took one pair of pajamas and 2 pantsuits because I thought I'd come back in about 2 days. When I first drove up and I saw all this writing on my house, I'm like, what is the writing for? And that's when my son explained to me. Every house in this city was checked. And when they checked them, they wrote on there what they found, whether it was a body, the date they came in, whether it was a dog or a cat, whatever. When I opened the door and I saw this, everything was turned upside down. I did not know refrigerators could float. My refrigerator was lying on its side, my washing machine and my dryer. My microwave was nowhere to be found. It was underneath the table, and it was so much mud and dirt because the water stayed in here. I think it stayed in here about 2 or 3 weeks or something. So the wood began to swell, and that's how we lost stuff. And of course, anything that was cloth, I wouldn't dare try to save it because it was mildew, mold, and you got fecal material, E. coli, you know, all the stuff, that sewage and stuff. I lost a picture of my mother and my father, a lot of my siblings who are deceased. I lost pictures of my children at their different stages of growth and development. I came back to rehab this house. And although my oldest son said, Mama, you need to move away because that's the second time we've had a flood. Well, I can't do that. I'm not a walk-away kind of person. I'm a stick-to-itive kind of person. So I'm going to see it through. And one day I'm going to walk in the new New Orleans where the streets are going to be paved. We're going to have subsurface drainage. We won't have there any more potholes. But anyway, that's why I'm back here. I want to rehab this place. And I want to make it like it was before, or better. On this house here, because of where it's located, it's in the B zone. B zone means that you are in the area that doesn't flood. Therefore, I didn't have to have flood insurance. But in a piece of property that I own as real estate, rental property, it was in the flood zone. I mean, I had an insurance policy and flood policy for that. That paid off, and that's how I got this started. When that insurance policy paid off, wasn't very much, but it gave me a running start. So that's how I began to coming in, do the studs and the sheetrock in here. $2,000. Now, I had homeowners insurance on this, but according to the adjuster, the water that came in here was flood water. It didn't cover flood. If it had been a fire, I would have gotten it. But flood, no. Now, how did I get to $2,000? Because one of the slates or shingles off the top of the house blew off during the storm. And some water got in, so they say. How do you measure that water versus the flood water? I don't know. So far, I've spent over $40,000. So far. Plywood is not cheap. Stud is not cheap. I had to put some new seals under the house because the ones near the back were termite eaten. There was a failure on the part of the federal government, state government, and city government. Red Cross. The governor was fussing with the mayor fussing with the governor and the mayor fussing with the president. It was like, it's not mine, I don't know what to do. They are still failing us. As we sit here and talk today, they are still failing us. We are not ready for another flood. We are not ready for the terrorist. We're just not ready because we have not spent the time to prepare the people. We just have not.